Listen, Chris Paul is one of the greatest point guards to ever play this game, no debate. Contrary to what Patrick Beverley might try to get you or not to believe, there is no debate that man is one of the greatest point guards to ever play this game. Check his numbers, top 3 in assists ever, top 4 in steals ever. This just goes to show that recency bias is one hell of a drug. If you don't believe me, go look at what a young Chris Paul was doing with the Hornets or in his early days with the Clippers. But with all that being said, time is not on his side, and I'm afraid he may have ran out of it when it comes to CP3 capturing him in NBA championship. What's good, YouTube man? Welcome back to another episode of Self Check. If you've been watching, you know that I'm E, but you knew that already because you be tuning in every time we drop a video. If you're a returning viewer, what's good? Go. I appreciate you coming back. I hope everything is good with you. And if you're a new viewer, welcome to Self Check. Stay towards the end of the video, see if you like it or not. Check out some of our other content. I'm sure we might have something you might like. If you come across this video and you're feeling it, be sure to drop a thumbs up. It'll help the channel out a ton. It'll be much appreciated. And without further ado, man, let's talk about CP3. The Phoenix Suns have just been eliminated from the NBA playoffs, coming off a season where they just went 64-18. Now keep that in mind because I came across something that was a little shocking and I want to share this with y'all real quick. So they went 64-18, right? Number one winningest team in NBA history was obviously the 2016 Warriors, who blew that 3-1 lead, but we're not gonna get into that. They were the most winningest team of all time. If you go all the way down to the 23rd most winningest team of all time, there sits this Phoenix Suns team. I thought that was a little crazy. And after doing all that, you lose in the Game 7 to the Dallas Mavericks, led by Luka Doncic on your home floor. Now understand, losing, getting your ass kicked, that's a little bit different. It's a difference between losing and going out like the way the Phoenix Suns went out. Through the last 5 games of this series, Chris Paul was only averaging 9.4 points a game and about 5.4 assists, but at the same time coughing up the ball almost 4 times a game. That's just not gonna get it done. At the same time, Jalen Brunson is coming at you and making you work on defense, and if you ever get caught on Luka Doncic, he putting that body on you and he trying to wear you down. It's to the point now where I think Chris Paul is cursed. He gotta be. That's gotta be the only logical explanation as to why every year it's always something that's kind of keeping him from getting the job done. Whether it's him being injured or a teammate being injured or him missing some of the series, a teammate missing some of the series, or them just flat out blowing the lead, it seems like it's always something that's keeping Chris Paul from sealing the deal in the playoffs. I mean, think about it, y'all. This man has been a part of 5 different teams that have blown 2-0 lead. There's gotta be something going on. Either he's cursed or maybe he's just not fit to get the job done. And I don't want to put that kind of disrespect and label on Chris. There's something going on and we got to get to the bottom of it. Of course, it comes out now that the series is over with, that Chris Paul was battling a quad injury, which is very well true, because if you know Chris Paul and you're familiar with his postseason track record, he's always injured somewhere throughout the playoffs. Like, it just never fails. At the same time, ain't nobody trying to hear that.
I'm not trying to hear that. Show it like that.
This Phoenix Suns team is the same team that up until they got into the finals, they always played a team who was kind of without one of their key pieces. Whether it was the Lakers with AD after he went down and he couldn't get on the court, Jamal couldn't get on the court for the Nuggets, Kawhi couldn't get on the court for the Clippers. At least CP was able to kind of get on the court. So since he was able to kind of be out there, he got to produce better. And he didn't. So those guys, they just got to hold that L. Let's go back and look at Chris Paul playoff history over the years. All time, Chris Paul is 72-70 in the playoffs. In 2008, his first go round, he goes up 2-0 on the San Antonio Spurs. Now, some people may believe he had no business even being up 2 on the Spurs, but hey, you got that far, you got to find some way to get that job done. In 2009, they go up against the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs. Now, they kind of really had no business winning this series anyway, but in that series, one of those games was the biggest playoff loss in NBA history, where they lost by 58 points. In 2011, you get 4-2 by the Lakers in the first round. In 2012, you make it to the second round, but you get swept by the San Antonio Spurs. 2013, you blow another lead to the Grizzlies. You were up 2-0 in the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies were able to kind of come back and win that series though, because I kind of remember it a little bit. The Grizzlies, they kind of just made that a grit and grind series like they known for. They made it real physical. With Blake and CP, I think they got into their heads and took them up out that game, and they came back and they was able to win that series. In 2014 against OKC, he had that choke job in Game 5. It's probably less than like 10 seconds left on the clock. I can't remember clearly right now, but I remember he had them 2 key turnovers towards the end of the game, and OKC was able to come back and win that game by 1. I remember Doc Rivers was looking like, man, like what the f are we doing? In 2015, when Josh Smith happened and you blew that 3-1 lead to the Rockets, albeit Chris Paul, he did miss the first 2 games because when he hit that game on the Spurs, he had messed up his hamstring and he couldn't play the full series, but he was there towards the end of the series and the Rockets won that. After the Clippers were already up 3-1, you got to find some way to win that series. 2016, messes up his hand after you go up 2-0 on the Blazers. Wizards. 2017, 4-3 to the Jazz. 2018, 4-3 to the Warriors. He had hit that shimmy on Steph, came down a little bit later in the fourth quarter, towards the end of the game, messed up his hamstring. 2019, 4-2 to the Warriors. 2020, down there in the bubble, 4-3 to the Rockets. Gave the ball to Shea, they gave the ball to Lou Dort for the game winner. He gets blocked by James Harden. Chris Paul got to take that shot. In the 2021 finals, you were up 2-1 on the Bucks. Now, some people want to blame it on Scott Foster, but man, forget that. It's the NBA championship. You up 2-0, got to find some way to close that deal. Then you fast forward to this year, 2022, you up 2-0 again on the Mavericks, and you don't close this series. I don't know what it is, but if you ask me, I think it's the Chris Paul playoff curse. So now we got to ask, was this Chris Paul's last chance to legitimately win another championship, or can this Phoenix Suns team come back next year and make another run at it? As of right now, it's not looking too good. First thing, you got to figure out what's going on with DeAndre Ayton. It's coming out again, of course, after the series is already over with, that of course DeAndre Ayton didn't feel valued and all this other stuff. And of course, you guys know DeAndre Ayton want that bag. Due to his performance in Game 7, Phoenix Suns might be a little reluctant to kind of give him that big check that he's looking for. So you might lose DeAndre Ayton in free agency. Next season, the Western Conference will be more healthy and reloaded. Two teams that the Phoenix Suns beat to make it to the 2021 NBA Finals, Denver Nuggets getting MPJ and Jamal Murray back, and the Los Angeles Clippers, they getting Kawhi back. So that's two teams right there. Memphis ain't going nowhere. Warriors still gonna be there, and with Jordan Poole on the rise, that's making them even more deadly. You don't know what's gonna happen with the Lakers. You don't know what can happen with a couple other teams. So the Western Conference is gonna be more tougher next year. Not to mention the team who they just lost to, the Dallas Mavericks. And if the Phoenix Suns were to somehow even kind of get back to a Western semifinals next year, that would mean Chris Paul would be 38 years old. You see what he doing at 37 years old. Now he could be worn down because of the playoffs, but if you see how he producing now at 38, what does a 38-year-old Chris Paul look like? So when you ask the question if can the Phoenix Suns kind of come back and make another run at it, right now it's looking tough. But check this out, with or without an NBA championship on his resume, Chris Paul will go down as one of the greatest players to ever play this game. He already on top 75. He will already go down as one of the greatest players to ever play this game, and he will also go down as one of the even greater point guards to lace him up and play this game. Alright y'all, I'm gonna call the wrap on this one, and again, I appreciate all you guys tuning in to another episode of Self Check. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you come across and you was feeling it. It helps the channel out a ton. And hit that subscribe button because the video is gonna keep coming. Be sure to check out the video here, whichever one catches your eye. This has been another episode of Self Check, and I'm E. I appreciate you guys rocking out with me. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Peace.